So if he's here, then everyone's probably here.
Sure,
right?
a lot of generational seasons for these teams too. Yeah, that's right.
A lot of generational big men, obviously.
Oh,
so, you
yeah.
know.
How could you not get through the Sweet 16 at least once in Trace Jackson Davis's career?
Right.
Or, Zach Edey,
Yeah.
surely the National Player of the Year gets to the Sweet 16.
Especially since they're hanging the little banners with the conference titles and winning the 3-day tournament in Chicago.
Yeah,
and
sure.
You would think it translates, right?
You would hope so, and that got Brad Underwood in Illinois just really fired up to be part of the Field of 64. As
3 years in a row, Field of 64.
3 years in a row. It's very clear that's your end goal when you don't make it any further than that. We are going to beat this drum pretty loudly here, and we're gonna have fun doing it. This is a great time.
It's
I'm loving
okay
this.
though, because I'm sure all the schools ran into tough tasks.
Sure.
Nobody ran into any school that didn't win their conference out of a mid-major. That was the shortest team in college basketball, couldn't possibly be coached by someone in their first year in Division I basketball.
That sounds a little too good to be true.
Yeah, I don't think that would ever
happen. If it happened, that'd be
in this
embarrassing.
case.
Let me tell you that. No, this is great. We are going to rub this in to everyone else's face. I doubt a lot of other Big Ten fans are watching Spartan Dogs for Life right now, but us State fans, we're going to enjoy this one because we've heard a little bit here the last few years. Oh, Izzo's washed. Oh, Mr. March. No, he's not. He's the only one standing in the conference. You clowns. So bow down, pay your respects, kiss the ring. Thank you very much.
The Izzo bashing was obviously warranted though, because he won 2 whole tournaments without making the Sweet 16.
Two whole tournament. Yeah, I know. It's a bummer. How dare he?
Yeah.
How dare he? But now we're dancing, still dancing, baby. That's right.
For the 15th time, the Sweet 16.
15th time. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm stating the obvious here, but 25 straight tournaments, 15 of those in the Sweet 16, and also too, we might get in some stats here about how good Tom Izzo is in these Sweet 16s. But who's to say? I don't know. Might be a little segment here in a little bit.
Interesting. I enjoy the segments now that I got a win in last week's.
You're coming in here white hot.
1 and 6. 1 and 6 on 2-hour facts. 1 is whack.
Yeah, you're like Michigan State. You get hot during March, man.
Exactly. Exactly.
Stumble in here, but then leave
Even
with
though
greatness.
I think this is like the 3rd Wednesday of March, and I still don't have a winning record. But sure.
We're not here to talk about that. Not here to talk about that.
But yeah, so I guess what we are here to talk about.
Those dogs.
Look at that transition.
That was beautiful. That was nice. That was really nice.
Michigan State. Solid wins this weekend.
Combined 19-point victories. Yeah, that's not too shabby. In March Madness, when what was the first spread? The first spread was like 1.5 points. They're favored against USC. The second game, 1.5 point underdogs against Marquette, and that was some kind of no doubters down the stretch. I say no doubters very loosely here because ever since that faded Iowa game happened, we understand to not celebrate until the clock hits 0. But also too, like looking back to the Iowa game, what a godsend for the team, because like they do not go down swinging. It doesn't matter if they're up 8 points with under a minute left. Like, no, we're still going to be all up in your shorts playing lockdown defense now. So
yeah, and dunking for the first time in entire careers. In entire careers.
Yeah, so that was a nice little game here, and that's paid dividends. That was a loss that's paid dividends, and I know that there's a lot more that happened in these last 2 games that we'll talk about, but that was nice. Just the last little minute there. Never any quit with this team.
Right, definitely. I think the most impressive part about this, as everyone that has talked about this has already pointed out, obviously, but Michigan State did not have the 3-point ball or the 3-point shot going for them these past 2 games. And yet they went ahead and they won 2 games with gritty defense and toughness. Kind of just became a throwback Tom Izzo identity out of nowhere. This team, we always had been saying on this show, even after losses, like, hey, it's not a moral victory, but we do think this team has more grit than the past 2 years. Sounded kind of corny and hanging your hat on a small thing, but it was true. It was a fact. And now we are finally seeing that in the wins and losses column and at the most important time. If you would have told me that they would go 2 for 16 against the nation's number 6 offense, that ideally you would have thought would have been putting up 70, 80 points based on how those metrics would say. But that did not happen, Matt. Instead, the team that went 2 for 16 was the team that won.
Yeah, naturally, of course. And also, you get USC game only taking 14 3-point attempts and only 2 guys making them. All right, it was Joey Hauser, who had a really nice day from beyond the arc in the USC game, but also Jaden Akins only made 1, and then it was just blanks everywhere else. But we also saw in the 2 games that sometimes stereotypes and cliches, things of that nature, are kind of true. Like, hey, guard play is really important for March Madness. Like that, you saw that in spades the last 2 games, and not just on the offensive end. Yeah, Tyson Walker got his, 35 combined points over the 2 games. AJ Hoggard, some great moments as well. But the defense, this is something that we already know. All right, Boogie Ellis, Tyler Kolek combined 13 points. Both of these guys had their worst games of the season against the Michigan State Spartans. And yeah, it's no mistake why Michigan State is dancing after, their strength of defensive guard play on the other team's strength of offensive guard play collided. And, well, who won that battle? I think it's the Michigan State Spartans.
Yeah.
There we go.
Just holding Kolek and Boogie Ellis to 13 combined points is an unbelievable feat.
It's crazy. Yeah.
You would think, even on an off day, a free throw here and there, maybe 1-3 there, those guys would probably combine for 20 even on a bad day for both of them each. No, that is not the case. And then on the flip side, talking about scraping together points, you have someone like Joey Hauser, who's being guarded by the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year, leading the entire game in scoring, I believe, with 17 points against USC. So just you have guys coming in here going against this isn't regular season play anymore. Everyone here is somehow impressive, whether it's a sixth man of the year here and there for Marquette, whether it's a Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year. And these are guys that are coming in at the most important time of the year, peaking at the right time. Like you always hear everyone say, whoever peaks at the right time is the one that's going to be going far in March. And somehow Michigan State is doing that in almost every facet of their game. Obviously, three-point shooting withstanding, but you have rebounding better than you've seen it all year. Granted, part of that is matchup dependent. They haven't gone against a great defensive rebounding team, but ball security. I don't know what the statistics say, but relative to how many steals Marquette forces per game, winning that turnover battle to me is the most impressive ball control feat of the season.
Yeah.
And then athleticism and just hustle, being active with your hands, even if you're not rebounding it, moving your feet, staying in front. Those little things that in the middle of the season, when you would like to see that in a random Wednesday at 9 p.m., it doesn't really matter at the end of the day if we saw it there. We're seeing it now.
And when you say high motor and, playing smart with your feet and everything like that, it's impossible not to think about the big men.
Yeah.
Mady Sissoko had maybe his best game since the Iowa game at home. If you even want to go further than that as far as importance, like the Champions Classic.
Yeah.
I mean, he played outstanding, and he did a lot of it, too, with 4 fouls. He had 4 fouls pretty late in that game there, and he was still walling up great. He had high motor the entire time. And that's something that we've never questioned with Mady, right? I mean, of course he's had up and downs, but motor's never been questioned. But it was nice when the motor was up high, but it wasn't just erratic the entire time. He played smart. He played clean. Except the 4 fouls, which is nice. I want Mady leaving every game with 4 fouls.
I would agree.
That's a man that needs to use all 4 of them. And Carson Cooper, too, as well. Okay, just a little 16-minute action for you. Just best game of his young career against USC in an NCAA tournament game. When he had that little rim run, scooping up the Tyson Walker missed layup there and dunked it, I almost hit my head on the ceiling of the house. That was probably the most hype I was, beside the Tyson Walker dunk against Marquette over the whole weekend. That was electric.
And that's really all Michigan State needs from Cooper. They don't need him to develop a post game this year.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't have to be Joel Embiid yet. No.
Right. Yeah. Just all he and Mady need to do is they need to make the opposing center work for all of their points.
Yep. Just wall up, baby.
Right.
Just wall up.
And when there's an opportunity to rebound, we would like to see them box out, and we would like to see them catch the ball. That's it. That's all you can kind of hope for in this experiment that Izzo was running this year, where it was about long-term development. It's how would these guys all look next year when the chips are really on the table. Now, this is starting to look like an opportunity here anyway. We'll see how far they can get. We'll talk about that later in the show. So I guess we shouldn't really say, it's all about next year. This year was just a trial run. That's kind of not what we want to say. But at the end of the day, everybody knew this was going to be a development year for 2 of the 3 centers at least.
Yeah.
Ended up looking like that for Mady at the whole time through. But all Michigan State really needs from their center position is what we saw the last 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
So
right on. There we go. And now here we are moving on to Kansas State.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I just felt the palpitation in my chest there. 6:30 Thursday, Madison Square Garden. Awesome. No, we're going to be positive here. This is a good thing. I don't care that Michigan State is 4-12 Madison Square Garden in their lives. You know what that means, Justin?
They're due.
They're due, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Just early vibe check on this Kansas State game, because I could be talked into a 20-point Michigan State win as easily as I could be talked into a 20-point Wildcat win in this one. So I'm everywhere.
Yeah,
I'm everywhere.
I don't know. I think as the game's gotten closer, I've become more optimistic of MSU's chances.
Okay. It's good.
Kind of for the Marquette game, it was even keeled for me the whole time. I was thinking Michigan State probably will win this game if the threes fall. Obviously, that formula was not at all what happened, so I don't know ball.
Right.
But I kind of was the whole time thinking, like, all right, Michigan State, the threes will fall this game. They'll go toe-to-toe with Marquette, but they'll be tougher, and that'll be how it goes. This time around, right after the game ended, I'm like, yeah, okay, no. So that's 3 games in a row where they've had a three-point shooting slump.
Yep.
They're just winning off of pretty much pure effort. And eventually that's not going to be sustainable if the shooting is not there. But the more I kind of think about it, where is Michigan State's strength on defense, Matt?
I would say around the perimeter with the guards, Justin. That's my guess.
And where would you say, Matt, are most of Kansas State's points coming from?
Is it around the perimeter with guard play? Do they got a nice little guard over there?
Okay. That is the case.
Okay.
So I don't think Michigan State needs to break out of this three-point shooting slump necessarily. Not to win this game.
I would like them to, though.
That would be amazing.
Yeah,
that would
just
be sensational.
Just saying. But with that said, go ahead. Sorry. Yeah.
But also, I don't know if it will because, first of all, obviously 3 straight games in a row, horrible three-point shooting.
Yep.
And 2 for 16 last game.
Not great.
And then they were looking at 5 for 14 the game before that, so decent, but not great.
Yeah.
And then 3 for 16 against Ohio State. So, right. Bad slump. Now, you combine that with the fact that they're at Madison Square Garden.
Yep.
And now, Matt, unfortunately, the worst stat for this argument of their slump not breaking.
I think I could counter this. I can't wait to hear this.
Can you counter this? I hope you can counter this.
I might be able to. I may have gotten some help earlier from a Kansas State friend.
Perfect.
So, yeah, go ahead.
So Kansas State's three-point percentage allowed.
Oh, we got this one.
15th in the nation.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Please tell me that is irrelevant.
It's pretty good. I was talking with Mason Voth of emaonline.com. That's right. Every man a Wildcat online.com. He covers Kansas State, and we talked about that for a little bit. I have another show, Locked on Spartans, not to plug that really quick, but he said, we are a great three-point defensive team on paper. But if you watch the games, we do let up a lot of wide-open three-pointers, and the Big 12 as a whole, not a conference of shooters. There are only 3 teams in the Big 12 that shoot over 35% as a whole. Now, for comparison, the Big 10, they have 5 teams that shoot above 35%, so it's not a staggering difference, but the Big 12 kind of booty at shooting the three-point ball, if I could borrow that term from 2018.
Yeah. Or from 2023 Brad Underwood.
Or that or that too. So don't get me wrong. On paper, the 15th best three-point defense in the nation scares me a little bit. Markquis Nowell. Okay. Big 12 all defense team, so he is pretty solid as well. It won't be necessarily incredibly easy, but there might be a little context to that stat that hopefully Michigan State can rely on. I just hope they shot the daylights out of those tournament balls they're using, though, man.
Yep.
Because, look, this isn't just a Michigan State problem. I really wish I remembered who had this stat. Jeff Goodman, I think it was.
It was Jeff Goodman.
Let's go.
Almost said John Goodman, but Jeff Goodman.
You know what? We'll give them both credit. It's somewhere around in the first 2 rounds, all teams combined are shooting 30 or 31% on the tournament so far, and I don't think it is conspiracy or tinfoil hat to say that it's the ball. No, there have been complaints about this ball that the players are saying that it feels kind of light or there's no real grip on it. So I hope MSU got at least 12,000 shots up per day with this new ball, because I can't do 2 of 16 from beyond the arc anymore as a fan.
And now, so I when I hoop, I use the Wilson Evolution. So now for me, every single time I airball, this is the go-to.
100%.
And I'll say, hey, here's Jeff Goodman's tweet.
Yes.
These are the facts. This is science.
Yeah.
There's a sample size of much better athletes failing at shooting the 3-ball than I.
Yep.
So, perfect. Got the cop out on paper, ready to go. But yeah, I agree. I think every single shot they will have taken this week, no doubt, is with the Wilson Evo next ball. I think, honestly, I would even say going forward after we've seen this phenomenon, Michigan State should start using this ball probably the 3rd week of February for all their practices.
Oh, I like that.
And, it's March is all that matters anyway. So if you flame out at the end of the Big Ten run, who cares?
Oh, man.
No, I'm half kidding about that. But no, I do think they should start using it sooner.
I'm all the way serious about that. I'm taking your joke, and I'm going to be serious about it, actually. That's genius.
Yeah. Maybe not February 20th, but I think a week or so before they started using it this year. maybe 2 weeks. So I think that's an adjustment that probably is learned here.
You're onto something. You think Tom's listening right now, Tom Izzo?
We'll clip this up and post it on Twitter, and we know he'll definitely see it if it's on Twitter.
On one of his 8 burner accounts that he's farming over there. Yeah. Okay. Nice.
Sounds good. So I think to your point about that's great context.
Yeah. You like
shout out to Mason, and shout out to you for making that interview happen.
Sure. Yeah. And just remembering. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad memory in this brain. So. Yeah.
But I think that's a great point. A lot of the Big 12, they thrive on athleticism and driving to the paint, earning the buckets.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a good stat there. And also because of the fact that when you have someone like Markquis Nowell and he is suffocating the point of attack on offense, it kind of crushes the dribble drive. So in A.J. Hogarth's case, I don't think that would be as much of an issue. I think Michigan State can get the dribble drive going.
Okay.
Nowell's probably not going to be guarding AJ anyway just because of the difference in measurables.
Right.
So I think that is something where whoever, maybe Tyson Walker, right, if that's who Nowell is guarding on defense, he might have trouble becoming unstuck. But Akins, Hauser, off of a Hogarth dribble drive, I think that's an element Michigan State can play with a bigger guard that a lot of teams in the Big 12 might not have been able to. So just kind of some things we can see if they can take leverage or if they can leverage. But honestly, the scariest thing about this was I was listening to Mark Titus's show. And
great show.
Yeah. Yep. Jake Marsh on there pointed out Markquis Nowell.
Yeah.
His Twitter handle.
Yeah.
At Mr. New York City.
And that's where Madison Square Garden is, I believe.
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to
now,
check. Okay.
Now even worse.
Yeah. Go on.
His header picture.
Yeah.
Underestimate me so I can embarrass you. His pinned tweet, man. Heart over height.
Yeah, no, he's checking every box.
It's about wrapped up.
It's every box is being checked right now for like just great March Madness story. CBS gushing over him when they get to the Final Four. Well, I've seen this play out every single March Madness. There's that one hero out there, and of course it's going to be him. We got a New York kid, though.
This is true. I was hoping that's where you would take it so we can stop being negative for the segment.
Not negative, just giving everyone a heads up.
This is true.
We are mentally guarding ourselves from what could happen. Now, with that said, there's another gentleman from the great city of New York. His name's Tyson Walker. He is returning home. And also him and Markquis Nowell know each other. So I don't know, if could this be a game where both guys are just trying to out alpha one another and it is just one-on-one ball. And Tyson I think he's smart enough not to get fully into that, but I don't know, man. It's just gonna be fascinating. I've only thought about this game every hour I've been awake ever since Sunday, and I've played out every scenario in my head. But that's one that's sticking out to me. Are these guys just going to try to have an alpha off between the two and just see who's going to claim the city for once and for all? I don't know.
I think
I'm starting to sweat.
I think with Michigan State having the ball in Hogarth's hand the whole time to initiate the offense,
it's going to help a little bit.
Right. Yeah. I think I can definitely see Nowell going to that hero ball route, especially early on if they're not having a lot of success running sets.
I know. And he did it last game against Kentucky, and it really worked. He scored 23 of his 27 points in the second half, and even when he wasn't scoring the second half, he was great at cutting through the lane, help defenses would cut off, and I'm just going to slip this pass right by you here. Here's a wide open dunk. Oh my God, this guy he's 5 steps ahead of the defense he's going against. So this is all to say it'll be a tough matchup. But
and then Keontae Johnson is another name for Kansas State.
Yeah, spooks me a lot.
Yeah, as he should.
Spooks me.
Yeah, he's had 20 points, I believe 8 times and 34 starts this year. So about 33% of the time almost, he goes ahead and gets a 20-piece for his team.
I'm not having fun anymore.
Malik Hall is probably going to be the primary on him, I would say, because of measurables. So
if not him, then who else?
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Right? If he gets 3 or 4 fouls,
Jaden Akins has given up 30 or 40 pounds on him, 2 inches. So yikes. Joey Hauser, I would love him for his offense. I don't think he'll be getting his defense. So Malik's gonna have to play smart. I mean, also just AJ's gonna have to play smart too. That is what I kind of get nervous about. If Nowell is switched on him, or if that's just a straight up assignment on a trip down the court. Nowell is shifty, man. This guy is a firecracker.
Hand checks, AJ.
Of a man. So you got to keep. I would almost tape the hands behind his back.
I agree.
just to make sure, like, oh, he's going this way, and then, oh, here's a whistle. Great. Now we got 2 fouls with 11:08 left in the first half.
Yeah.
That's another nightmare scenario played out.
And a guy like Nowell, you're not going to be able to strip him as the primary defender. That's where you try to clutter the driving lane and have someone like Akins or Hall from the outside poke it free. Yep. So there's no excuse, really, anytime a defender commits one of those fouls. Like, those to me are the most frustrating fouls out of all of them. But then Kansas State doesn't really have anyone else that really carries a scoring load. They have 2 other guys that are even averaging more than 8 points per game, and that's Naquan Tomlin and Desi Sills. Yeah. Desi Sills averages 8.8. Tomlin averages 10.3. Both of them shoot 29% and 27% respectively from 3. Yeah. So I can see one of them going 7 for 9 from 3 and looking like Klay Thompson just because of the stakes. But for the most part, that dribble drive shouldn't yield a rainstorm of threes like it does with some lethal guards out there.
Sure, absolutely. If I could just throw one stat out there to maybe give some comfort to State fans, because I know we just threw a lot at you guys in the last 5 minutes, and maybe not all of it was fun, but look, it's a Sweet 16. Every team's going to be good now, and we're not going to lie and say, oh, it's an easy win. Absolutely not, no. But look, I just want to mention this really quick. The gambling line came out Kansas -1.5. It is now Kansas plus 1.5. That means they are underdogs right now, yet they are still getting 65% of the money their way from the public. That's all I'll say. If you know anything about gambling, you might have a wry smile over there on that side of the camera, because let's just say the last game Michigan State played, they were only getting 35% of the money betting publicly. How'd it go? That town over there in the desert keeps their lights on for a reason. That's all I want to say. Let me just find some wood to knock on.
Yeah. Plus, we know the line moved like 2.5 points just because of what you put down on Michigan State anyway. So.
Correct. Yeah. Just my kid's college fund. That's okay. So that's fine. College is overrated. Yeah.
I know you have that saved for the live money line bet for the opposition the second MSU gets up 10 for all these games.
He knows me so well. That's 100% what I did against Marquette. Yeah. Same with USC as well. Up 8 points in the first half. USC plus 7.5. Let's have your happiness. Let's go. Oh, what's that? We're up 12 against Marquette. Yeah. Marquette plus 5.5 live lines. Yeah. Sin, you know me. That's 100% what happened.
Yeah. But also, speaking of these betting trends, you said before the Marquette game even happened to watch that trend. That's not something you just figured out. You said the same thing happened in the MSU Duke game in 2019, right?
2019, it was Duke minus 1.5, and I said Vegas is begging people to take Duke right now. I was at a bar at St. Patrick's Day when the line came out for this Marquette game. We're just doing story time with Matt right now. And I looked at my phone. I said, Marquette minus 2.5. They should be like -5, I thought. So it's like Vegas is begging people to take the Golden Eagles here, and they ate up all the slop that they did. It was like 65 to 70% of the money going to Marquette, and that line wasn't budging either. That's when I knew it was curtains for Michigan State. Like that's when I knew that kids are going to be okay. So even with 2 of 16 shooting, it was all fine. That's right. Follow the numbers, folks. That's right.
Genius. That's all the analysis you need. But I don't know why you talked about Norwell and Keontae Johnson. It's just...
Why play the game, honestly? Why even play the game, in my opinion? I would just move on to Saturday. Let's see if we could cook something up for that game. So, yeah, man. Anything else you want to say about Kansas State before we move on? Or
No, I think that's just about it. I think
just let go.
With Kansas State being that good of a 3-point percentage defensive team, which I know you added great context.
Yeah,
but
I tried.
If we just assume that the slump continues, I think the way they won the last 2 games has given them belief that a sustainable blueprint, at least sustainable for one more round, where you're not going up against a team that is matched up against your biggest weaknesses. Like Kansas State's not a great rebounding team. They don't have a power scoring center. So for one more game, I think you can sustain a poor shooting night and you can get 2-point field goals to be pretty much all of your points. In that regard, Kansas State is 191st in the nation in 2-point field goal percentage. So this is a team where, once again, you can go in there, get quality looks, and crash the glass. They're outside of the top 200 in defensive rebounding, just like USC was, just like Marquette was. So this is a blueprint where probably one last time, you can go ahead and grit your way to a win without the shots falling. If they fall, even better. But
please,
I think there's an avenue here for them to win this game.
How many threes would they have to miss to start the game before you start panicking? Because if they start 0 for 3, okay, just one. Yeah. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, okay, that's fine.
If they miss the first one, it's like the shooting slump is bona fide, like locked in. They're not going to make another 3 until 17 seconds left in the game.
I like that.
Down like 8.
Yeah, don't even attempt a 3 the rest of the game if you miss your first one. Just play like 1952 style basketball.
Exactly. Yeah. The first missed 3, after that, pretend you are Ben Simmons.
I love
and finish the game with that. But like pre-hiatus Ben Simmons, where you're still passing,
say, like still play the game.
Defending.
Yeah, still play. Okay, that's good. Okay. All right, I like that. Well, I think that was a good preview of Kansas State.
Yeah.
We talked about our highs, we talked about our lows, and I think everyone's anxious ball of energy right now going into this game. It is so funny that like this is what we were rooting for. Like we like I'm sure a lot of State fans were similar here. Like it felt like the last 5 minutes like you could just throw up at any time, and the anxiety was just sky high. The nerves were horrible, but yet like you're rooting for the chance to feel like this all over again on Thursday. Like it is such an unhealthy way to live, but it's March. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Not watch? Not root way too hard for a college team? No, get out of here. So
no shot.
And I hope we get to do it again Saturday too.
Yeah.
And then the following Saturday. And then the Monday after. So we'll see here. I got a quick question.
Ask me this question, Matt.
I got a quick question. Have you let your mind wander to Michigan State cutting down the nets in Houston yet? Have you let yourself get that far in your daydreaming? Yes or no?
I have bookmarked 7 hotels in Houston.
Oh my God. Okay. Wow. That's okay. That's solid.
Yeah, but
that's wow.
Net cutting, I don't know. Getting there, cutting the net in
sure.
Madison Square Garden. Yeah, for
100%.
Sure,
100%. I'm talking
Houston,
national title cutting the nets.
See, the thing
NRG Stadium.
The thing is right now in this region, you have Kansas State, Tennessee. Tennessee scares me a ton. We can talk about that. But I think beating those two teams is different than beating Alabama or from the top left or from the top right, beating Houston.
Yeah.
Or even from the bottom right, either UCLA or Gonzaga.
Or UConn.
So to me, it's like you can get to the Final Four, but suddenly like this whole tournament theme of, the good teams are knocked out, that ends right about there once you get to the Final Four.
Right.
So I don't see it. I don't see the second title coming this year.
I haven't let my mind wander there until either two things: MSU makes the Final Four, or if like Houston falls against Alabama falls against San Diego State, then my mind will start to wander. It's like okay, well they are on our side, so like so far I've only let my mind go to just the best and just drunkest Saturday night of all time as I'm just watching Izzo swing that net in the air for his 9th time in the Final Four. So, please happen. That'd be so much fun.
What would you say is the most ideal scenario for Michigan State to win a title in terms of all the other outcomes? I would say probably. I haven't watched enough San Diego State to say if they would be better or worse of an opponent than Creighton. Creighton coming into the season was for some people even had them winning national titles.
Yeah. My son actually has them winning the national title. So my 2-year-old ball-knowing son who picked the Princeton over Arizona.
Yeah, that's what scares me because he got the Princeton one right.
Yeah, he also had Kennesaw State as a national runner-up. So I mean, that's what we're working with here, everyone.
They were challenging until halftime in the first game.
I understand that. Yeah.
But
it was devastating.
Obviously, with the transfer of Baylor Shireman and all that, Creighton's looking dangerous.
Very, yeah.
At the same time, San Diego State, when I was half predicting them to beat Alabama like a week ago and trying to put that on record so I can cut that and paste it if they somehow beat Alabama.
As you should, yeah.
I was saying they have 9 of their top 9 leading scorers are seniors.
Yeah.
That is unprecedented.
It's
without doing any research.
It's unbelievable. It's almost unbelievable. I can't believe that a roster can be constructed like that. Like that's so good for them though.
So out of those two teams, both of them would be quality, could be beatable. Would prefer them over Alabama, no doubt. On the other side, Houston ideally would lose in the Final Four. Texas.
They look like an NBA team in the second half against Auburn. Houston looked like they could go for a 4 seed in the Western Conference in the second half against Auburn.
Yeah,
they looked unstoppable.
Yeah.
But hey, the first half they looked really lousy.
They're definitely beating the Kings.
I think so. No, they beat him in 5 games. I think Sacramento gets 1, and then Houston takes the other. Gentleman's sweep.
Marcus Sasser is putting De'Aaron Fox in Guantanamo.
Just in Alcatraz. You know it.
But and then the UCLA Gonzaga opportunity.
That's gonna be a great game.
Right there, the winner of that game, I think, is Michigan State's best shot out of these top tier teams making it in, because Gonzaga's a team Michigan State went toe to toe with back early in the season.
Right.
And we saw right after that Kentucky game, like what Michigan State really kind of was not really what they were at the time. They played kind of as anomalies, and then the rest of the season we're like, okay, this is what Michigan State is. So I would say at that point, that wasn't what I know Mady Sissoko was his best version of himself.
Yeah.
But I think Michigan State could have been better than they were back then. So if you have an injured UCLA team or a Gonzaga team you've already gone toe-to-toe with before you really started meshing and developing, I don't know. I think that's Michigan State's best window of opportunity.
It's hard to argue any of that. Yeah, I mean, or just Princeton keeps on doing what they're doing, and then the clock strikes midnight at the Final Four. Nailed it. I think that is another good way to win a national title, but you just got to take care of business first. I feel like I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't jinx it, because now we're getting uncomfortable territory where like we're talking national title, and if they go out and lose by 30 tomorrow, we're gonna have some upset people. We're gonna have some really upset people.
I think they'll have more to be upset at than us.
Oh, you'd be surprised. You'd be really surprised, I think.
I think everyone would just be Googling like random centers that were in the portal last year and being like, oh, we could have had this guy.
Yeah, Fardaws Amac with his 1 foot. Yeah, that's right.
With his like two practices played this year.
Yeah, you know it.
Johnny Broome and his eliminated Auburn team.
Yep. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, they tried their best.
Manny Bates. I don't even know what Butler finished this year.
Probably, I don't know, fine enough. Probably, that's my guess.
But yeah, I guess reeling it back a little and just diving into the rest of the East region here in the Sweet 16. Obviously, Tennessee, everyone knows about Tennessee. They basically got away with a UFC fight against Duke.
That was
somehow,
ridiculous.
some way.
Yeah.
But the NCAA gave the Duke whistle to Marquette instead of keeping it with Duke. So that was just a wild occurrence there, as Kyle Filipowski was walking around just broken and battered with blood gushing.
That was insane, dude. It looked like he got jumped in an alley by halftime. It's like, oh, and no one's in foul trouble either in Tennessee. Great, awesome. That's a good officiating crew.
So Tennessee this year, at the start of March Madness, I don't know about right now, they were 4th in net in the entire country. Yeah. 4th in net,
right?
But the 4 seed in their own region.
I don't get that.
Yeah, so very underseeded.
Whatever.
Obviously, net's not a tell-all, but that's impressive. They're number 1 in Ken Palm adjusted defense.
They are, yeah.
Defense travels. That's why I don't put a lot of stock into this. Oh, it's Rick Barnes, and we have Tom Izzo, so Michigan State's going to win.
I know.
Rick Barnes, for him to have success in March would be unprecedented. You know what else is unprecedented for Rick Barnes? Having this good of a defense.
Yeah, I know.
That year when they went to the Sweet 16, I think in 2018-19 season, he had the 48th or 43rd ranked defense. This is a different makeup. This is a different team. So Tennessee, we'll see. They play an FAU team. And talk about underseeded based on net. FAU in the entire nation was 13th in net.
Yeah.
9 seed in their own conference. Or own region.
I every year I try to make sense in that, and then every year like I see seedings like this happen. It's like I'm done trying to follow it. Like whatever.
Yeah.
But like a sucker, I'll come crawling back and trying to understand it next year. But yeah, like I have been a loyal member of the Church of Rick Barnes slander. Like I was on this before like this was a Twitter thing. Like I would like to, I don't get a lot of things right here, but like this I knew. I sniffed this out from the beginning. I knew that anytime you're paired up against Rick Barnes in March, congratulations, you're going on to the next round. But man, I just go back to that Duke game. It was like organized MMA on a basketball court with just like an orange ball thrown in the middle, and Duke had no idea what was happening to them. I wouldn't either, but like that is also just hilarious about what's going on with the officiating. And look, everyone's barking up and down about the officiating. It's like, what's going on? It's just so inconsistent. Like you'll watch one game like the Tennessee Duke game where like the refs forgot their whistles at the hotel room, and then you're watching MSU Marquette where you can't even move inside the arc without having a whistle blown. So whatever. I mean, it is what it is.
You were probably at George Mason games, just giving Rick Barnes all the grief for being a fraud.
Just riding him like a $3 mule.
Since before the Twitter days, he said.
That's right.
She was on MySpace criticizing.
I was opening up my bedroom window, screaming to anyone that would pass by, Rick Barnes is a fraud! Couldn't make the Sweet 16 with Kevin Durant! So, that's how I passed my time as a middle schooler and a high schooler. No chasing girls or being cool or anything.
Just posters of Rick Barnes with an X through his face.
As if he owes me money. Yeah, that's right. But no, it's quite the opposite. Rick Barnes has actually won me a lot of money in March, so hopefully he can continue to do that this year by losing.
Yeah, so that's the game right on top of Michigan State.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I would probably guess that Michigan State or Kansas State would play Tennessee, but stranger things have happened.
Yeah.
And
it's March, Justin.
Yeah,
that's right.
It is. So we will see what happens there. Matt, what would you say has been the most impressive team in the tournament for you?
Most impressive team, Princeton. Okay, like that's one. The 15 seed. Not just winning the games, but also like winning that second game pretty decisively over Missouri, and also like chip stack against them, only having 6 points scored against them in the last 10 minutes against Arizona. So got to go with the storyline there, but. God, it's two very boring and basic answers. One's a 15 seed, and the other one's the number 1 overall seed in this whole tournament, and Alabama. Like, once again, like I'm just blown away by their defense. They are just swarming, just how strong they look. They look like a machine, dude. So, yeah, I hate to say it, but also I do have my eye on Xavier just because I have him in the Final Four, so I'm using confirmation bias here. Yeah. But hey, now starting with 8 minutes to go against Kennesaw State, they've looked really good. So that 3-point ball's back. Jack Nungy is also looking strong. So I know a lot of people are looking forward to this Texas versus Houston Elite Eight, and it feels like whenever talking heads and analysts do that, like that matchup never ends up happening. So I think it will be Xavier versus Houston.
Yeah, definitely. And Xavier, great. Well, I shouldn't say great story there because Sean Miller is just.
It's a story.
It's a story.
It is a story.
It's a notable one.
Yeah, it's one you can tell.
Yeah, yep. It is one that is worth noting.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. It's Sean Miller. Hey, okay, good for him. Maybe. Or not.
Yeah, but kind of the Xavier storyline that I think is bigger and more overarching is the Big East. What the Big East has done here, 3 teams in the Sweet 16. The team that I was going to say for my answer of most impressive is UConn. Not because they've beaten anybody dramatic, but this was a UConn team that won.
Yeah.
I think, what was it, 14 in a row to start the season. Yep. Then they had an injury sort of spell, and they lost like 6 or 7 games. Mm-hmm. And then after that, they roped off a bunch of wins again. And then here they are in March. They played a St. Mary's team last round that they beat decisively, a St. Mary's team that was a legitimate 5 seed.
Yeah.
And now look out. We got Hurley over here, one of those crazy psychotic coaches that don't really know what to make. Is he going to flame out early? Is he going to inspire his team to the end?
Right, I know.
So
no, UConn's a spicy team. I like them a lot, actually. Yeah. They got the big man in Sonogo. They got some great guard play. Yeah, so they're
now the Big East is going to have not only these 3 teams, but we'll see if Georgetown is going to be good under Ed Cooley, and
Slick Rick
in
the building. Let's go.
Slick Rick is back.
Johnny, stand up. Let's go.
Slick Rick is back to.
That would terrify me as a Big East fan.
In a very integrity-based manner.
Sure.
Going to build up the St. John's program.
Yeah. Well, it's a Catholic. Yeah. Right. We're going to do this by the holiest of ways.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sounds like the streets are already saying Ian Jackson, 5-star UNC commit.
Yes. Yeah.
Wavering towards that direction.
Yeah.
We're looking at Boogie Fland. He's also kind of starting to look at.
It's a great name.
Look at St. John's.
Yeah.
You got those 2. You got a couple guys in the portal. Big East is looking scary, and St. John's is looking like it's towards the top of that pretty quickly if this plays out the way it does.
Spicy. And
I need Slick Rick to make the at least the Final Four in like a year or 2, and then what we do is
I'd be fine with that.
We get a biopic where Al Pacino plays Rick Pitino.
It's too perfect. This is
that's finally a movie that you might watch.
No, don't be ridiculous. No. If it's not the town, I ain't watching it. If it's not the town, I ain't down. That's how you like that. So, yeah. I got a new segment.
Yes,
Justin.
A new segment.
It's going to be a quick segment. It's called More Likely to Happen, where I'm going to give you 2 scenarios. Which one is more likely to happen?
The second one, whatever the second one is.
Okay, you're probably right, actually. So the first one is Tom Izzo running a breathing exercise during a timeout in a March Madness game.
Definitely the second one.
Or Tom Izzo making his team exercise in a timeout in the last 5 minutes of a March Madness game. What is more likely? Now, this is a reference to Shaka Smart. He had a breathing exercise for his team in the last few minutes during a timeout against Michigan State, which is a move like if your team goes on to win, that's the most genius thing of all time. That is so unorthodox and outside the box, it can only be talked about in lore for the future to come for Marquette fans. However, if it doesn't work and you still lose by 9 points and you actually had like a turnover, the following possession, you're really kind of looking like a clown. And I hate saying that because I do like Shaka Smart. I really hope he does well at Marquette, but odd decision there at the end. Or would Tom Izzo rather have his team just sprints during the timeout as a way to fire them up? What do you think Tom Izzo would rather do in a timeout? 5 minutes to go.
First of all, an odd decision from Shaka Smart is not that surprising. He wears long sleeves under a polo.
This is right up his alley then.
Yeah. Definitely the second one. I can easily see, probably not with this current team, because even when they don't rebound, like someone like Madi, effort's always there. But I could see like a scenario out there where maybe with a different roster, a different center, where they don't box out for a rebound. Izzo calls a timeout, and he has them like just running and jogging in circles to get them to actually move. And I can see that way more than whatever Shaka Smart was doing there. That's just unfathomable to me, just because like at that stage of the game in crunch time, there has to be something more important you can impress upon your team. Something you have seen in the previous 38 minutes that you're like, hey, Michigan State's been doing this. Hey, the past 3 possessions where Tyson Walker has scored and you guys haven't been able to stop him, maybe let's try this instead. Right? Like if you want to say it in a nicer tone than Izzo, that's fine. You want to sit there, you want to use the kind of tone that Izzo uses when he's mic'd up, where he's like, hey, come on guys. You want to talk like that, that's fine.
Yeah, that's okay.
But how are you going to sit there and think that you have opened up a yoga studio while a Sweet 16 berth is on the line for 12 years, or 10 years, sorry. You have not won a tournament game before this run. You are this close for making a Sweet 16, and you're going to sit there like you're on a picnic and provide nothing of value. And then the broadcast goes ahead and presents this in a groundbreaking and admirable way.
That's not good.
And I was trying to look this up. I didn't want to take too long. That would be bad, dead airtime, bad radio.
No, that's fine.
I wanted to figure out what the exact run was after this stunt.
It was a good one for Michigan State. I'll tell you that one. Yeah, but very unique. Hey, Tyler Kolek, we haven't had you on the left side of the court running a set to your strong side in a few minutes here. We're not going to run a set for that, though. We're not going to draw anything up. Hey, Cam Jones, you're doing really good getting spacing off the screens here. They're not fighting through the screens. Let's get you another three-pointer here. Or let's all get in a circle, hold hands, and breathe for a little bit. Again, like, this would be the most genius thing if it worked, but, like, it didn't at
Matt,
all.
I have it. I have the number.
Okay, please lay it on me.
The CBS Sports app does not say that a timeout was taken here, but I remember it was between free throws, right?
Yeah, I think you're right, actually.
Okay,
yeah,
this was taken with Marquette being down 56-55 this timeout.
It was that close when oh my god. Okay,
if I'm right, because I'm looking at the 3:36 mark.
Okay,
3:36 sounds about right.
It does.
Okay, and that was the last time Marquette shot free throws. So Olivier Maxence Prosper.
Yeah,
he made it 56-55. They did their breathing exercise thing. Marquette doesn't score again until Michigan State is up 66-55. Michigan State went on a 10-0 run after the impromptu yoga session. And then the Tyler Kolek did hit a 3 with 35 seconds left. They made a 2 with 10 seconds left. So Michigan State went on a 10-0 run after the breathing exercise.
Oh boy, I might have to get off my I like Shaka Smart soapbox. Like that's like I thought it was bad in the moment. After hearing the numbers, that's terrible. Oh, again, no sets for Tyler Kolek. Get him going in some sign of desperation.
Like massage his thumb at least and fix that.
Sure, Cam Jones is 4 of 9 now. Let's make sure he doesn't shoot another 3-pointer. It's okay. We're just gonna.
I never want to hear anything else from that Twitter user Hoops Basketball Breakdown or whatever, the one that says Izzo yells too much. because we have just seen the opposite, the absolute opposite of that. I cannot think of anything more opposite of what.
No, you're spot on. You are spot on.
Yeah, we have gotten the perfect science experiment here of two opposites, and the other one yielded a 10-0 run to the other method.
Yeah.
So
one guy is
Kenny Smith. Anybody else? I should have a list of these names, but anybody back then that was ranting about Izzo grabbing Gabe Brown?
Oh, get completely out of here. I don't want to swear on the microphone right now, but yeah, like one guy is about to have an aneurysm at any given time during the game. He's breaking clipboards, not even over his knee, just in thin air. He just snaps it right over. The other guy is doing a kumbaya session, and one of these guys has 8 Final Fours. The other one hasn't made it past the first weekend in March since 2011. Maybe that's the proof in the pudding. You just got to be a psychopath on the sidelines. I think we've had enough proof.
Yeah.
I think we've had enough proof. Are you ready to prove yourself again,
Yes,
Justin?
I'm ready to go 2-6.
Are you ready to prove yourself once again in 2 Are Facts, 1 Is Whack? If this is your first time watching the show, hey, welcome. Thanks a lot for joining us. This is a lot of fun. I hope you're having a somewhat moderate time yourself over there. 2 Are Facts, 1 Is Whack. All right? Mm-hmm. That's right. 3 statements, 2 of them are facts, 1 is whack. Justin Thin, are you ready for statement number 1?
I am.
If MSU wins tomorrow, it would be Tom Izzo's longest winning streak in Sweet 16 games. Statement number 2. Tom Izzo has been to the Sweet 16 14 times. Now that is a fact. I'm going to give you that one.
Right.
In those 14 games, the winner has moved on to the Final Four on 11 of those occasions. Number 3. MSU has had more postseason wins than Michigan in 3 of the last 4 postseasons. That's counting Big Ten Tournament, NCAA Tournament, and if God willing, any team needs it, NIT games as well. And again, this is the Michigan State team that is dead. That is a thing of the past. Mr. March is dead. That's that Michigan State team. And then the Michigan team, who is already better than Tom Izzo and has the program at heights never seen before. So I was told a few years ago. So which one is whack? I may have given a little more information on that last one.
That one's looking true.
We'll see. Yeah.
Michigan State went to the Final Four 3 postseasons ago, or 4, 3
postseasons ago.
Yeah. This year, Michigan State has
4 postseasons if you count this one. Sorry. 2023, the one we're in right now. 2022, 2021, and then 2019 was the 4th. So
yeah. And that's how you base the stat, right?
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Yeah. So that one's good.
Sorry, including this one. Yep.
Yeah, and then Michigan State went further this year. So yeah, okay.
Sure.
So the middle one was, this is Tom Izzo's longest Sweet 16 streak, or was that the first one?
That was the first one. If he wins tomorrow, it would be his longest Sweet 16 winning streak.
Okay. And then what was the middle one?
The middle one is Izzo's been to the Sweet 16 14 times. In 14 of those games, the winner of that Sweet 16 matchup has moved on to the Final Four on 11 of those occasions.
I will say that is true, and the first one's false.
Two in a row.
Let's go.
2 in a row. 2 in a row. Let's go. Let's go. 2 in a row.
I have just briefly looking over all the history of Tom Izzo's teams in March. The one takeaway I had is a lot of the times when Izzo loses, it's to eventual Final Four. A lot of times national championship game appearance teams.
Spot on. Yeah.
So that is kind of the premise that I was going with there.
And you nailed it, and I got the stats to back that up as well. Tom Izzo's longest Sweet 16 streak is actually 5 Sweet 16 wins in a row. 1999, 2000, 2001, 2003, and 2005 made the Sweet 16. All those years made it beyond the Sweet 16 in those 5 years as well. Right now, the streak is at 3. Okay, he won in 2014, 15, and 2019 as well. So this would be his 4th Sweet 16 win in a row. Izzo has been to the Sweet 16 14 times. In 14 of those games, the winner has moved on to the Final Four on 11 of those occasions. 8 of those times, that's Michigan State going to the Final Four. They have won 10 Sweet 16 games under Tom Izzo. 8 of those 10 games, you go on to the Final Four. Now, the 4 games that they've lost, 1998 North Carolina, they go on to the Final Four. 2008 John Calipari's Memphis team, they go on to the Final Four. 2013 Louisville, slick Rick Pitino, they went on to the Final Four. The only team that beat Michigan State in the Sweet 16 and did not move on to the Final Four, 2013 Duke under Coach K. So it's a big game tomorrow. It's a big game. It's not a for sure end-all be-all, but there is some numbers behind that as well. And then also, Michigan State's dead. They don't do anything in March. We're actually the superior postseason team. In 3 of the last 4 postseasons. Again, this was Michigan's full Renaissance era and the death of Michigan State basketball. MSU has still won more postseason games in 3 of the last 4 postseasons. Of course, that includes Big Ten tournament, NCAA tournament, and if the kids need it, the NIT tournament too, if you need to scrape wins from that as well. So that ended up being true. So look at you, 2 in a row. See, they're letting you get hot in March.
Yep.
It's in the air.
Yeah.
It's in the air. That's what I'm talking about. Well done.
Throwing all the performances in January and February.
I love that.
Manufactured adversity. Yep. And now this is where you got to peak at the right time.
This is like you shooting with the tournament balls in February.
Exactly.
Just to thrive in March. I like it.
Yep.
I like it.
Exactly.
There we go. We bouncing this to Owen right now, or what do we got?
We
next?
are, I believe. We can now bounce this to Owen, who is going to tell us about all of the happenings at Michigan State and other sports.
Yeah, I mean, first off, big thing, it was opening day today for MSU baseball, and then yesterday MSU softball. We'll start with them. It was their opening day. They won 3-0 against Central Michigan, which is very exciting. They have weekend series coming up against Wisconsin, which will be tough, but as of yesterday, Faith Guidry was fantastic starting and just was phenomenal all the way through in the circle. And then today, MSU baseball was being shut out, and they were being no-hit, in fact, into the 5th inning. They loaded the bases, and then Trent Farquhar was hit by a pitch. And then from there, it just got contagious, and MSU offense has just gone through the roof. They've now won 6 straight. They're really figuring it out.
Wow.
Pitching still work in process, but Nick Powers, he came out of the pen. It was phenomenal as well. Really slammed the door shut, and Michigan State was able to pick up the 8-3 victory. They got Purdue coming in on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so we'll have to see whether they can continue that streak. But
yeah, good stuff, Owen.
Look at the baseball Spartans put the work in. There we go. Spotting the other team 5 innings of just now. We're not even going to try to get a hit here, and then just
manufactured adversity.
Raking in the runs. There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's right, baby. Just keep shopping. Love it.
Keep shopping, baby.
Appreciate it, Owen.
You're the best.
All right,
Owen.
see you guys.
Yep.
Spartan Dog of the Week time.
Sounds like it is that time.
This is going to be a rerun here because, look, we haven't been doing this segment for all too long, maybe just a few months.
Yeah.
But this guy has to win it again, and this comes from a man that scored 35 combined points on the court the last 2 games. 1 against USC, 1 against Marquette. That's right, we're talking Tyson Walker. Okay, 35 combined points in the first 2 rounds also. My favorite part of that 35-point stat is that 13 of them came in the last 8 minutes and 8 seconds of the Marquette game. Obviously, the going was getting tough from beyond the arc. All right, points were coming at a premium. Both teams ended up scoring under 70 points. It was time for someone to put the big boy pants on, and Tyson Walker looked around and said, I'll do it. Fine. All right, you guys want to go to the Sweet 16? I'll take everyone to the Sweet 16, damn it. All right, we're going to get there. Everyone just look out, all right? I'm going to have my old mid-range jumper game. I'm going to have some crazy finishes at the rim. And by the way, I'm also going to play lockdown defense. I'm going to throw the clamps on whoever is across from me. Whether they have the ball or whether they don't have the ball, I'm going to get it done because I'm Tyson effing Walker. And I want to go home. I want to go to New York. I want to play Madison Square Garden, so everyone just follow me. I got you guys. That's essentially what he said. So dog-like attitude, and he was also a dog in the press conference today. I don't know if you saw this from Kyle Lawson of MLive.com, but he shared a little snippet of some of the press conference and short answers from Tyson. This guy's locked in. He's ready to absolutely unleash it tomorrow. Let me knock on wood, but yeah, Tyson, take it home tomorrow, and congrats on your 2nd Spartan Dog of the Week. What do you think excites him more, going to the Sweet 16 or winning 2 Spartan Dog of the Week awards?
Has to be the 2 Spartan Dog of the Week awards.
Okay, I didn't want to pat ourselves in the back too hard, but let's just be honest.
I don't think there's any question.
No, okay, that's good.
Shout out to the breathing exercises that made that finish happen.
Oh man, I'm gonna need a lot of breathing exercises tomorrow. Actually, that's the irony of it all. So I will have to be doing that as well. But I'm not going on the line for big free throws in a very important spot of a game. So that's the difference here. Oh man, this is a fun episode. Get to absolutely just
sensational
defecate on every other Big Ten team that's not here right now.
Yeah.
And don't feel bad about it whatsoever. Get to rip apart the breathing exercises. We're feeling some type of way.
Yeah.
They're letting us get hot. This could come crashing down in the worst way, but we're going to enjoy this.
Pride comes before the fall.
The fall, Pride comes before the fall. This is good Mark D'Antonio advice here, but I like it up here right now. I like it up here so far. Yeah. We needed this, all right? It's been a while. It's been a while since we've been able to smile about sports. We're back, though.
Appears that we are back.
We're back. And we will be back next week,
regardless
of what happens. Whether I'm in a car on the way to Houston, just FaceTiming JT, or whether we're both in a car at the same time.
We'll record holding portable mics in the front row of the car. It'll be great.
I'll get the pedals, you get the wheel. It's going to be fantastic. Yeah, or we're just sad. Or we're not. Think about that. How about that?
And with that profound thought at the end of the show, we are...
What a way to land the plane there, Matt. There we go.
And with that, this is the SD4L show. We appreciate you listening this week, and we'll be back next week, either happy or sad. One of those two options.
Or not.
Appreciate it.
I get worse at these ends every show.